Be still, be silent.
That night, on a bare ridge of rock, the wind moved through the olive trees like the breath of the desert. Jesus walked alone, fingers on stone, feet dusty. He prayed through the night, emptying his heart into heaven's quiet. Morning would come. He would speak 12 names. History would bend. Dawn touched the hills. Pink light lay over the Sea of Galilee. Waves lapped and seemed to hold their breath. A choice was near. Below the slope, the village slept. Boats creaked at their anchors. Brothers shaped by salt and sun waited without knowing it. Simon, Andrew, James, John. In minutes, their lives would split a new way, from fishermen to fishers of people. Before we go deeper, if your heart beats a little faster hearing this, tap subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment. What intrigues you most about the 12? Stay to the end. You'll get a simple pocket map to remember each name, each nickname, each moment that formed the first community of faith. The sun rose, Jesus called. First John and Andrew, disciples of the forerunner. They had heard the witness.
Behold, the Lamb of God.
A buried seed broke open when they met him. Andrew ran to find his brother, Simon, blunt, quick-tempered, a coal of fire. Jesus looked into eyes rinsed by the sea and spoke a new name.
You are Peter the rock.
From that second, time set a stake. An ordinary sinner was asked to become a foundation. The next day, he found Philip of Bethsaida. Philip found Nathanael, the careful skeptic. Can anything good come from Nazareth? Nathanael asked. Jesus smiled. He named the fig tree where Nathanael had prayed. One short sentence, a heart-caught flame. Nathanael followed. Tradition remembers him also as Bartholomew. Days passed. The circle grew. Matthew, the taxman, dry, exact. Thomas, mind that wants proof. James the less, young but firm. Thaddeus, quiet. Simon the zealot, hot with ideals. Judas Iscariot, clever with a hairline crack in the heart. 12 people, 12 temperaments, 12 cuts in history drawn to one simple teacher. They followed him through dusty alleys. Jesus preached in fields, healed in crowded rooms, touched the leper, raised a little girl. They learned to listen inside the noise. Merchants, farmers, pilgrims, the poor. Some days they ate their fill from multiplied bread and fish. Some nights they rowed to the far shore, spent to the bone, escaping the crush of the crowd. Then the storm. A moonless night. Waves hammered the hull. Wind howled like a beast. Jesus slept in the bow. Peter's sweat stung his eyes. Ropes screamed.
Teacher, we are perishing.
The cry broke loose. Jesus rose, faced the storm.
Be still, be silent.
The wind folded its wings. The lake turned to glass. A heavy quiet fell. They stared at one another, shaking.
Who is this, that even wind and sea obey?
That moment taught the first lesson, authority and faith. Not blind faith. The faith of people who almost died and then heard a voice that touched the core. On the road, Jesus kept shaping names and edges. James and John, sons of thunder, he called them Boanerges. Zeal needs mercy. Fire needs love. Peter stumbled again and again. Hot words, quick moves. He even tried to block the way of the cross. But each fall taught him humility. Each wound made him softer, stronger. Matthew learned to share after years guarding a scale. Thomas learned to see beyond his scars. Nathanael's doubts thinned into clean honesty. Judas drifted, ideal tangled with disappointment. He loved the teacher, yet wanted victory on his terms. A narrow crack widened until the night of the supper. Before Passover, Jesus washed their feet. Desert-hardened souls in the hands that had healed crowds. You call me teacher and Lord. Good, I have given you an example. Bread broken, wine poured, farewell words like summer wind under a roof. Judas went out into the night. The door of darkness swung shut. 12 is not an accident. 12 tribes of Israel. 12 springs at Elim in the desert. 12 stones on the high priest's breastpiece. In John's vision, a woman crowned with 12 stars. The New Jerusalem with 12 gates and 12 foundations, names of tribes and apostles. 12 is a bridge, promise to fulfillment, old story to new community, long history to one morning when ordinary people looked up to a call from heaven. So when Judas fell by his own noose, the community refused to leave 12 broken. Peter stood. With the brothers, he chose Matthias. A circle closed. The witness stayed whole. Peter, Simon, fisherman, quick-tempered yet generous, named Rock. Andrew, Peter's brother, first to bring others to the Master. James, son of Zebedee, thunder in his blood, later drank the full cup of witness. John, the disciple Jesus loved, tender heart, would write a gospel and revelation. Philip, practical, good with numbers, quick to bring seekers to Jesus. Nathaniel/Bartholomew, clear mind, honest soul, doubt refined into integrity. Matthew, tax collector who knew power's shadow, became a storyteller of the kingdom. Thomas, honest doubter, touched the wounds and believed deeply. James the Less, son of Alphaeus, steady and quiet, a thread that mended seams. Thaddeus, Jude, son of James, low voice, right question at the right time. Simon the Zealot, once a fighter, traded blades for service. Judas Iscariot, keeper of the purse, the crack that led to betrayal, a warning for every heart. The story doesn't end in the first century. Each of us carries a little 12 inside, a bit of Peter's impulse, a bit of John's gentleness. Thomas wanting to touch and see, Judas lurking for advantage. Which wave in you is still loud after the storm has calmed? When you watch the Master wash feet, will you kneel for your neighbor? 12 is not a statistic. It is an invitation. Start small. Call people by a new name, the name of hope. Be silent in the night storm instead of waking fear. Choose your Matthias, one decision that fills a hole in your life. Another night falls on Galilee. The boat drifts again. The disciples' fatigue beats with the world's pulse. At the bow, one still prays, like that first night on the mountain. Tomorrow they will go on, new towns, new roads. But the memory stays bright. The morning he called their names and a storm died like a breath. If you're still here, leave a line. Which of the 12 reaches you and why? At the end of this video, you'll get a 12 paths chart, each path a tiny habit to bring their story into your day. Don't leave yet. In just a minute, you'll see how ancient names unlock modern change, at home, at work, in your relationships. From then on, the 12 live in the church's memory. Stained glass carries 12 stars. 12 columns under the sanctuary bear their names. Faith stands on real people. On the altar sits a chalice from the 12th century, rim worn by generations. In a side case, a thin relic, plain things that open a history soaked in sweat and tears. In art, Peter holds keys. John cradles a book. Thomas stretches out his hand. Matthew sits by the tax table. Simon the Zealot lays down a short blade, a farewell to violence. Judas turns away, swallowed by shadow, not to curse him, but to warn us where we break. So this is not only past. Each time we cross a church threshold, hear bells, light a candle, we walk the 12's road, from doubt to trust, from ambition to gift, from fear to peace. Every generation learns their names like best friends. They are the larger family of all who choose the light. If this touched you, help it travel. Subscribe, like, comment below. Which apostle am I most like, and why? Every tap is a push that helps the algorithm carry this story to someone who needs it. Share the video with a friend or your group. One share today might change one heart tomorrow. Thank you for walking with us.